What up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Noname back at it again with another Giants update video. And today, well, I was initially going to talk about the reports coming out that Gettleman is on the hot seat from the very reliable Jay Glazer. But as I woke up, as I was eating my breakfast, more news dropped on Twitter via Jordan Rannon and Dan Dugan that the Giants restructured their brand new free agency contracts in order to free up some cap space for this year. And so now I want to talk about both of those. The good thing is that they feed into each other. So let me start off by the Jay Glazer reports that came out yesterday. Per The Athletic, according to Glazer, Gettleman is on the hot seat, so to speak, that he has 1 year left really to turn the ship around and get the Giants headed in the right direction, or ownership is going to let him go. Now then, I'm going to give you guys the exact quote. I'm going to put up on the screen. This is how it goes. I don't know if he'll end up retiring, but yeah, I think he was close this year. He made a case to ownership to come back. He presented a plan for how he'll turn it around in a year. That needs to happen. If it doesn't happen, he'll be gone, and rightfully so. If he doesn't follow through, it's time to go. I would hope that Gettleman has also learned a bit about himself and his interactions with people during this process. Anytime you're on the hot seat, you have to look inside yourself and say, what's my responsibility in this, and make changes. Now then, the fact that Gettleman had to make a case to ownership to come back, that surprises me, because from all reports, from all eyes looking in last year, or I guess earlier this year, when the Giants were letting go of coaches and whatnot, everybody thought that Gettleman was going to stay because he had done a relatively good job, or relatively positive job with the Giants thus far. Yeah, we weren't improving or anything, but most of that was on the coaching staff. Some of it does go on Gettleman, but most of that was in the coaching staff. You could see it on the field. The team was unprepared and they didn't know what they were doing like 90% of the time. And Gettleman did put that roster together, yeah, but that roster had talent. What really surprised me is that he had to make a case to come back. I thought ownership, I thought they were fine with Gettleman. I thought they liked the job he was doing. He did draft them, their future franchise quarterback in Daniel Jones. He did draft them Saquon Barkley, a possible future franchise left guard in Will Hernandez. We'll see how he bounces back this year. Darius Slayton, Dave Gettleman as a general manager, and maybe I'll do a separate video breaking down literally all his moves. But as a general manager, he's mainly had a positive impact. He got us out of cap hell from Jerry Reese, and that took a while as expected because the contracts that Reese gave out in 2016 and other years impacted the Giants up until this offseason. We're finally out of those contracts. We're finally out of that cap hell, so to speak, after like 3 or 4 years. It took a while, but Gettleman got us out of it. And that, just the impacts of Jerry Reese were something that was felt on this team for years and years. And people forget that, people don't realize how much bad moves impact the team in the future, which is why Gettleman has been so careful this offseason and previous offseasons to not really dish out money that much. The only time he ever gave out big contracts was to Nate Solder, when he gave Solder, the highest paid left tackle money at the time in the league. So that's why Gettleman has been careful. He knows what bad contracts and bad moves can do to a team even years forward. He got us out of that. Speaking of which, he improved the offensive line. And yes, the offensive line is still bad, but it's better than what it was in 2017 under Reese. It's way better than that. We actually have a right and a left guard, something that we didn't have in 2017. The left tackle definitely needs to be replaced, don't get me wrong on that, but he's better than Eric Flowers. Nate Solder is better than Eric Flowers. And we need to find a right guard, the right tackle. By all means, by all ways you look at it, and every Giants fan knows this, so don't deny it. Everybody knows that if we get a right tackle and a center, we'll be good this year. That's how close the offensive line is. And Gettleman has made, very shrewd moves, very almost penny-pinching moves this offseason with the contracts he gave out. You could say he gave out maybe one big contract. That would be the James Bradbury, but the way it was structured, not that bad. Same for Blake Martinez, and that's where these restructuring comes in. That sort of blows everything up, right? So the report by Jay Glazer, I will say, Glazer is probably one of the most reliable people out there to get your news from, especially after the Odell trade, and he was the first person to report it. But I still had a little, doubt. I was like, is he really on the hot seat? And then I saw these restructurings, and I'm like, this is a move by Gettleman. and the timing is really impeccable. One day it comes out that he could get fired at any time, and the next day he basically gives the team more money immediately, which is very, signifies a win now move, which the Giants are not a win now team. So it's another reason I don't like it. But restructuring the contracts just bolsters these reports. It just confirms these reports. It's almost Gettleman coming out to the media and saying, yeah, I had to make a case to come back. Yeah, if I mess up this year, I'm fired. Yeah, I'm on the hot seat. Yeah, I got 1 year to turn the team around. And that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Gettleman's not going to turn the team around in 1 year. Now, of course, that depends on what ownership defines turning the team around is. Does it mean they just want to see improvement, or does it mean they want to see playoffs, especially with the new playoff rules in place? Who knows? For me, turning the team around is improvement, and it doesn't necessarily mean wins. It means looking prepared on the field, which is something the Giants did not look last year. It means showing progress in the younger players. It means actually, seeing something valuable on the field and all that. It's not necessarily wins. It would be nice if it translates into wins. A six-win team this year is improvement, both in the win column, and to get 6 wins with the hard schedule we have, you got to be putting a good product on the field. So that's what improvement and that's what turning the ship around to me is. For management, it could be completely different. But if we get directly into these now restructurings, and this is from Jordan Rannon and Dan Dugan on Twitter, the contracts beforehand were front-loaded in such a way that if they were bad moves, the Giants could cut bait after 2 years. The players had most of their money. You could cut bait after 2 years, and you could find other players. Or if they worked out, you still keep them on for 3 years, but on that third year, you actually have space to extend the franchise, that is Daniel Jones and maybe even Saquon Barkley. So you had space to do that before they restructured it. Now, after they restructured it, it's kind of like backloaded / middle loaded. For example, for Bradbury, before this year, he would have had a cap hit of $16 million, then $14 next year, and then $13.5 the year after. Now it's a cap hit of $10 million, then $17 next year, and $16.5 the year after. So that one's kind of backloaded. And Martinez, this year he would have had a $14 million cap hit, then an 8.2, then an 8.5. Now it's a $10 million cap hit, then a 10.2, and then a 10.5. So the contracts on Martinez's part is really kind of equal. Like, I don't really consider the 0.2 and 0.5 that much, but specifically on Bradbury's, it's now heavily backloaded. And for both of them, it frees up basically $10 million in cap this year, an extra $10 million in cap space, which is in addition to the $10 million that the Giants already have. That's already including draft expenses and whatnot, which brings us up to the $20 million that Gettleman said he wants to keep for in-season moves. Now, you could argue that, hey man, this is just Gettleman, doing what he said he was going to do and keep $20 million for in-season moves. But once again, I'm seeing this, the timing and everything of Gettleman looking to make a win now move. You don't just free up $20 million and not do anything with it. No team needs $20 million to go into the season and, sign, random players with. It's only very so often, it's like very minuscule chance that a team goes in season with $20 million and they actually get to spend all of that $20 million on, let's say, a big name player or something. Which again leads me to believe Giants are looking to make a big move here, whether it's bring back a Marcus Golden who might be demanding a little bit more money, or possibly going after Jadeveon Clowney on a 1 year like $17 million deal or something, because now they have the money to do it. Would I like it? No. Like I said, I don't even like the restructuring because it takes away the ability to extend guys in the third years of these contracts, right? I'm not mad about keeping on these players for 3 years because they're young. I'm a little bit more, upset that we can't extend the Daniel Jones no more in the third year of these contracts unless, there's even more restructuring that goes down the line or they do it beforehand. Whatever the case is, it takes away that flexibility now, and now that sort of, I guess the benefits of the contracts that was one of my main talking points about signing these guys are gone. And we'll see what happens, but I don't see Gettleman keeping this $20 million and it being stagnant. I really think the Giants are looking to make a win-now move, specifically because Gettleman now knows that he now knows that the world knows that he's on the hot seat, and maybe that's sort of pushing him to take a drastic measure and whatnot. Let me know what you guys think. I really think the Giants are probably going to make a move to sign either Marcus Golden or Jadeveon Clowney. Like, you don't just have $20 million available there and do nothing with it. That's just me. Let me know what you think. I'm out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Put your comments down below. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Until next time, I'm out. Yeah.